Hello Pisces, and welcome to your May forecast. It's really great to see you again. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of information and guidance is coming through for you for this month. Just a reminder, you can always use this for your sun, your rising, as well as your moon sign. And if there's someone in your life that you care about, you can watch it on their behalf. If you don't happen to know all three parts, the sun, rising, and moon, just stick with the sign that you're born under, and that should give you more than enough information for the month ahead. For everybody that is a returning viewer, I'd like to start off by just saying thank you. Thanks for the continued support and for making this channel what it is today. If you're brand new, a big warm welcome to you and a quick introduction. First, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and every month I organize my reading in three basic parts. I start with some channeled information. That part is basically just intuition alone. Then I move along to a Celtic cross where we can see the main energy coming through for the month. And I close it with an expanded forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. If you like what you see here and you'd like to support the channel, please stick around until the very end. I'll give you some information at that point about how to join me on social media, how to book an appointment, or how to donate to the channel if you'd like to as well. Right now, however, I know you're interested in the reading, so without any further delay, let's talk about your channeled information for the month of May. As I began to meditate on the cards for your sign this month, a couple of images came to me. The first was of a teacher and a student, and the second one was of someone holding the scales, almost like you would see with the Justice card. And what I realized is that there would be a chance for you to either receive something from someone, some training or a gift of time or knowledge, or you would be the one giving that because of something that had been given to you previously. So I captured that in automatic writing. I wrote down learning, mentorship, and that act or that gift of giving and receiving. If you were to kind of put some tarot cards to this meaning, I would say it would be like the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles. And it kind of depends where you are in your life, which one would be more appropriate for you. There'd also be maybe something like the 6 of Pentacles, which would be all about the balance and the choice that we were looking at. So it'll be interesting to see if any of those pop up, but in my own mind's eye, that's what I'm seeing here. So if you feel like you have something to give to the world, great time for service. If you have been hungry to expand your knowledge or get some additional training, this is a really nice time for that as well. And if you've ever thought of teaching or trying to help someone that is younger or less fortunate than you, again, all of this seems to be coming through and will be beneficial. It could open up some new opportunities and friendships. Let's go ahead now and jump to the cards themselves. At this point, I like to remain quiet, but I will rejoin you right after I pull the full Celtic cross, and we'll talk about each card and how it relates to you over the month of May. Your catalyst card this month is the 10 of Wands. For me, the 10 of Wands often indicates a chance to move on to something new. And there's a little bit of wrap up for you to do. Based on this one, there's an unusual kind of connection to the community that you wouldn't always see with the 10 of Wands. In the traditional Rider-Waite card, you usually see a single person carrying that stack of 10 wands on their back, and it symbolizes a chance to make some sort of a journey, often moving from one place to another, telecommuting, or bridging a distance between two different places. With this particular illustration, I believe the message is you're not alone. Whether you're trying to make that move, make that leap of faith, or you're on the other end trying to get settled, you've always got support. The question is, are you ready to activate that network? If at any point during the month you feel slightly overwhelmed, or you feel like an outsider, or you feel like there's nowhere to go, check that feeling and see if it's not sort of a protective thing that you're doing where you think, I'm the only one that can do this, or maybe you're interpreting the cues wrong, because this card seems to indicate that there's a lot of people there, and there would be some sort of a benefit, I think, by trying to connect and get to know the people around you and maybe let them help you so that you can focus on other things. Let's go ahead now and look at the Celtic cross itself to see what additional information is coming through. As we look at the central card here, it is the Strength card in reverse. This is a reminder that it's important for you to take care of your body and physical well-being first and foremost this month. It can also indicate external forces acting upon you. A lot of times the Strength card can be an authority figure in your life, a boss, a mother, a parent, and as they come into your life, there's this feeling of not being able to sort of breathe or spread your wings. Do what you can this month to allow for that separation and that independence. One of the things that I want you to take from the traditional Rider-Waite card is that sense of it's okay to move on if you need to. And even in this one, you can see that it can get crowded when you try to please everybody. And what you're really trying to do, I think, this month is find your voice, find that strength and that independence that already exists within you and just own it. So if that means stepping away from a situation or saying something or doing something that's unpopular, this card says it's okay as long as you're doing it for the right reasons and as long as it feels good on a heart and a soul level, of course. The other thing that comes through whenever I see the Strength card reversed is it's a checkpoint from the universe to sort of see, are you doing more than you need to in a given situation? And that again goes back to the traditional Rider-Waite card, which is if you're carrying all of this on your back, might it be too much? Is there sort of something that you can offload or delegate or let go of completely? And that's sometimes what happens when the Ten of Wands comes through. It takes that last thing to make you realize, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to try this. I'm no longer afraid. And I feel like you're going to have that pivotal moment this month, many of you, where you realize it's okay to move on. It's okay to let go. The only other thing that I see with this is also to really make sure that people in your life need and want your energy, your time, your advice. Sometimes, just as there can be an external force coming in that can be too strong, your own energy can be a little bit overwhelming. So make sure that all the time, energy, and affection that you're giving to others is warranted, welcome, and worth the investment. Just going back to my give and receive message from the channeled information, that balance needs to be there. Now, crossing this card, we have the Knight of Swords, and this is all about your ability to speak your truth. And it's interesting that this might be the area that some of you could be struggling with this month because that Strength card is reversed, showing perhaps a weakness or a vulnerability here. And the other thing is it could just be your own perception that is making you feel vulnerable here. Because of the positioning of the Knight of Swords, I'm actually seeing that you might have more acumen there than you think, because if we pull the camera down for a second, it's actually pointing to the Three of Pentacles. This is telling me that some of you may just have a perceived inadequacy or a perceived weakness, but others don't feel the same that you do. So my challenge to you this month is to simply let others react without you making apologies or pushing out any sort of insecurities, because you may be surprised at your own abilities this month, particularly when it comes to communication. If you feel like you need someone to take a look at it, that could be the mentor that I was talking about. Or you could decide perhaps that if it's public speaking or English or some other form of communication that you want to enhance, that could be the training opportunity for you this month. As I look at the message in the deep past, it looks like some of you might be pulling back a little bit from friends, from family. You may be wanting a little bit more independence. You may be trying to escape that Strength card that we saw at the center. If there's a really strong personality that is just too much, it's okay. You can take a break from that. And many of you are looking to redirect and put your energy into work and study. Now, I will say there's a couple things that you want to be careful of with this. In its upright position, it can just show that you're having a good time, that you might be dating. Usually it's non-exclusive. You're just sort of, there's a lot of people coming in and out. The reversal of it can show that there could be a trigger in your life. It could be a trigger for an addiction, because both the 3 and the 9 of Cups can sometimes show that. And it can also be a warning to avoid a clique or any sort of gossip, whether that's in your family or at work or anywhere else in your life. The reason that I mention this is because we have the 3 of Pentacles, which can show written communication. There could be a document or a tracking of some of this communication, even a recording. It would be so much better this month if you're faced with that kind of gossip to simply say, I don't feel comfortable talking about that person. It's not only inappropriate, but it's also against policy. and just walk away. You don't owe them any excuses, and they're going to get the message loud and clear. And even if you're not working for a company, you could say, that's just not a good way to talk about people. I'm going to leave the room. Let me know when you want to have a conversation about something worthwhile. And just turn the channel off with them. And people will take it and they'll realize, okay, I guess I don't do that with this person. It would be better for you to be focusing on productive tasks. The Three of Pentacles actually shows completion on many levels. Some of you may be ready to take something that you've been working on and share it with a larger audience. This could be if you're an artist or a company and you want to launch something. This is good. This is showing you're putting on the final touches. It also comes up when you're entering higher education, like college or university, some sort of a really good certification program, or if you're trying to get something through a final approval. This just shows that you're getting that recognition that you need. And it can also be that too. If you're overdue for a raise or for some sort of special award, this is the time to bring it up. The Three of Pentacles shows that you're in a very good light this month, and the work that you've been doing on yourself will be well received. So congrats to those of you that have done the hard work to deserve that. Again, I think it's going to be a nice start for the month for many of you. Your crowning card is the Ace of Cups. This is showing me that whatever was causing you to sort of pull back last month or even towards the beginning of the month, it feels like you're going to open up a little bit mid-month, and by the end of the month you might even be back in that position where you decide, hey, you know what, I want to spend more time with my partner or with friends, or if you're single, this could be a time to meet new people. So I do feel like there'll be a gradual opening of that heart space. And if you're single and happy and not looking to date, this means that, or even partnered and think, I'm fine with my relationship, you can take this passion and put it into work, because these two cards are right next to each other. So if you want to decide to try to launch something big in your life, you could put all of that energy into a project, an endeavor, in some sort of training, as we talked about earlier, and it's really going to be well received. You're going to soak everything up, and you'll be happy that you invested your time and energy in that particular endeavor. When I looked at the Two of Swords here in the near future for you, I think there's a desire to be able to get beyond some of the limited beliefs around you. Sometimes the Two of Swords is about facing a decision in front of you where there's no easy outcome or no clear path, but it can also be something that happens when you are in a very closed-off environment, a corporation, a conservative family, a religious environment where there's only one way to do something. And I mention that because the environment card is the Hierophant, and it's reversed, which is often judgmental, limiting, or unnecessarily severe. And what this could have done for some of you is create this illusion that there is no way out. I'm here this month to let you know that you have a lot of options in front of you. One of the things that came through was there was a lot of friends. I feel like or a lot of allies, we could say. You have this good energy. Your crowning card is Ace of Cups. It feels like you're open. And I don't want you to limit yourself because people around you can't see who you are. This month you have a chance to take that blindfold off, to take your power back, to own it, to tune out any sort of negativity that might have been in a sort of gossip circle, and to really focus on, wait a second, you know what? I've done a lot of hard work. I'm actually well respected. There's a lot of people who know who I am, understand who I am. It may not be the people that matter to me, but there are people out there that really do see me, and I need to start to understand that just because my mom, my dad, my boss can't see my potential, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. My passion, my skill, my independence, all of these things are undeniable. I'm going to find my voice this month, and in doing so, I'm going to find my vision as well and figure out where I want to go. I'm no longer going to be seeing through the lens of my mom, my boss, my coworkers, my culture, my church. I am myself, and I have my own vision of what I need to become. That's what I'm seeing for you. It's a lot in the Two of Swords, right? But it's pretty amazing. So no matter where you are in your life, there's that capacity to recalibrate and to think, am I living my life for myself, or am I living it for others? It's a question we don't often ask ourselves, sometimes until it's way too late. So think about it now, and your answer can help color your choices as we move on through this spread here. Your ego card this month is all about resource management, self-development, and really making sure that you feel good about who you are, who you're becoming. So self-worth is a big component of this month. The Pentacles suit especially all of the court cards. The reversal on this can sometimes show someone who is focusing too much on themselves, but based on what we've seen before, I think this is the perfect placement and just the right amount of self-focus. As I was saying earlier, if you've ever thought of doing something just for you, going to school, deciding to give it a second chance at love, whether you've been divorced or single for a while, or you're trying to fix a relationship with someone, whatever it is, it feels like there's room for development and growth this month, and that's where you want to put it. So whatever your heart and soul and maybe even the bank account is telling you this month, you have to decide where you're going to put that energy so that you can make a decision that's best for you. As we look at the environment, there's absolutely a need, a desire, a suggestion here to make sure that you have enough flexibility. The Hierophant card is not bad in and of itself. It can show organization, structure, stability, dependability. All of those things are good. The reversal of this, though, can sometimes be too much or a desire to break that. So you might be kind of finding your inner rebel, your inner activist, or you're suddenly realizing that wherever you're at right now, since this is in the environment, no longer resonates 100% with what you feel like or who you're becoming. So it's interesting, if you've been in a company for like 5 years or 10 years, it may have changed, you may have changed, your long-term goals may also be shifting. Now it's time to reevaluate. It feels like you just need more room and more flexibility. As I look at hopes and fears, some of you are in a place where you just may not be satisfied. The Page of Cups upright is a great card. It can show love, it can show happiness, it can show great creativity. The reversal of this shows all of that being sort of stymied, and it is connected or rooted into this Hierophant card. So with that being said, I think it's really important for you to double check and see if this is really the best place, if you're happy with the relationship that you're in as well. Is the person too close-minded? Are they too self-focused, and are they not able to give you what you need? There's something off a little bit for some of you with your main environmental factors. So whether that's your relationship, your job, the place you're going to school, or even just where you're living, something needs to change this month. And we'll get some more insight as we expand the forecast in a moment, but I think we've already touched on several of the things that could be helpful. There are two general notes that I get with your outcome card. The first is to trust yourself. The second is that it's not going to be possible to make everybody happy. For many of you, you might have to simply walk away from some relationships or a particular job or a situation that you hold near and dear. For others, you're going to be walking towards a path of something that excites you, this new version of you. It could be a new career. It could be something that you want to create, because the overarching energy is creative this month. Yes, we have some things here in the environment that are a little tricky for you to work through, but your crowning card was great, and so was all of the work that you've been doing. So if you can activate that and then decide, okay, I'm ready to do something that matters to me. Knights, take action. You could be deciding to form a business. You could be deciding to get a new job, ask someone out on a date, to get married, to do something really big. Then you're going to be moving towards your future and away from a past that really wasn't making you happy. Sort of like, I get a feeling for some of you as we're doing this. First of all, I feel a quick pain in my solar plexus, and then I saw this picture of like a pot where there's a plant that just can't get out. It's like it's root bound, and I feel like some of you have outgrown where you were, and you just need to push through, break through. And I feel like for some of you, there's one relationship that's kind of pulling you in, and that's why I feel it in my solar plexus. So if there's someone that you're afraid of disappointing, have a heart-to-heart with them. Just let them know where you're at. Your honesty, your kindness, your passion for your future, this is going to be enough to heal it. And if not, then you know that this person doesn't truly see who you need to be. And that's really what this is about. You have to see yourself and trust that others will too. And that's the litmus test. If they can't, then they're not ready for the next step of the journey. All right, let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We'll begin with health. Health is mind, body, and spirit. So let's see what the cards have to say. When I look at your health card this month, I am really drawn to how similar it is to the strength card that we saw at the center. The main difference between the two of these cards is in this particular one you see a young girl, and this is really hearkening back to your inner child. And the show appreciation message, I think, has to do with how far you have come, and also looking in your life and really kind of figuring out who appreciates you and who do you appreciate. This is going to constitute your top list of who you should care about. Because if you're not receiving that give and take that we talked about before, it might be time to seek out somebody who truly can understand what your potential is. And I think that goes back to the initial message about learning, mentorship, and finding that kind of relationship. As far as general messages about health, I want to connect a couple of the tarot cards that we saw earlier. Just use moderation and common sense when it comes to eating and drinking this month. So making sure that you're not overindulging in sugar or in any other sort of dietary thing that really isn't compatible with your body, making sure that you're not drinking too much or overdoing things like caffeine and whatnot. The other thing is there is a need for you to just sort of relax and take care of your body. So if anything is off, you should go to the doctor, get some advice, get everything sorted out. You need your body to be completely healthy and strong so that you can embrace all the opportunities that seem to want to come through in work and in love. Let's go ahead now and take a look at your wealth card, knowing that wealth is not just money, but it's also self-worth and how you approach opportunities in your life. Your message in wealth is to go outside. I'll read a little bit more in a second, but if we just take it on that top caption, what this is really saying is go outside of your comfort zone, to go to a different sort of place in the country or in the world from where you're at right now, possibly moving, which we picked up on at the very beginning. A change is necessary and would in fact probably be a benefit to you. This also has to do with your health. I think health and wealth are always intermingled, and the message here says you've been inside too long, go outside and get some fresh air. I think it's both literal, like you probably need to get outside as much as possible to ground yourself and to meditate, but I also think that getting outside of this sort of closed-in environment that we saw with your current place of work or wherever you're living, it's limiting you in your capacity to think, to dream, to sort of breathe literally and think of what's possible. So you need to change location in order to change your entire sort of view of who you can be and start to dream of the future. So change up your bedroom situation, change your sheets, clean the whole bedroom out, make sure that there's a lot of breathing space there. And if you're in a work environment or some other environment where there's way too much chaos, you have to find some peace and quiet to sort of figure out what's next in your life. And the work environment could also be unhealthy. Are you living or working in a space where the windows are shut, or you haven't changed the filter on your air conditioner, or there's some building materials that aren't quite right? There's a reason that there's a health message coming in through wealth, which can include where you're working or where you're studying if you're a student. So just take care of that and make sure that you're healthy and safe. Let's go ahead now and take a look at love. Love includes not only relationships with someone that you're dating, but how you act with friends, with family, and with anybody that you care about in your life. So it's really interesting after we've talked about doing all of this work on yourself, clearing your environment, clearing out people in your life, situations, habits that aren't really suiting you anymore, starting to see yourself for all of your potential, that we get a message here about calling in your soulmate. When we are operating in the frequency of love, loving ourselves, loving what we're doing, surrounded by people who are also in that higher frequency, we naturally attract others who feel and think the same way. Let me just put a little bit of clarification here. If you are married, or if you're divorced, or if you're just single and happy and you're not really looking for another partner, a soulmate can mean something else. I consider my dog a soulmate. I consider one of my best friends a soulmate. I consider one of my family members a soulmate. I talked in another sign about this. Soulmates are simply people that we know in this life that have a karmic connection from the past. And sometimes they manifest as lovers, but often they manifest in more complicated ways, like I just mentioned: friends, family, neighbors, pets. And you can have just as profound of an experience with that level of soulmate as you can with a lover. So some of you may be calling in a profound relationship into your life, and this is a signal that you're getting ready for that. And I love that we have the Ace of Cups in the crowning position. Whenever I'm doing a love reading for someone, I look for that card as an indication that they are capable of giving and receiving unconditional love. I think there's a little bit of work for you to do on maybe seeing yourself for all your potential. That was the Two of Swords, but it looks like you're doing great work. Keep it up, and know that all kinds of partnerships in your life, coworkers, bosses, friends, future lovers if you are single, they're all going to benefit from the work you've been doing. So that's really what this card is about. And again, keep up the good work. Let's move along now to your Destiny card. Destiny is your chance to really engage in free will, take a look at your own GPS and think, am I happy with the path that I'm on? And what can I do to be happier, basically? So let's see what the cards have to say. As we look at your Destiny card, we see that there's a few twists and turns in the road, but you are moving in the right direction. For me, the River card always symbolizes a little bit of an emotional release that sometimes has to happen. So you may find that this month that you're kind of between two different sides here with the Ace of Cups. There could be great passion and energy being put into projects. You could also find that you're triggered at certain points emotionally, and this could be a combination of the stress that's going on and even just sort of that feeling of, I can't wait to get to the next stage in my life. So honor your emotions this month. They seem to be leading you in the right direction. It doesn't feel like you're beholden to them, but there is a little bit of sadness when I'm looking at the environment. I think you have to process that. And once you can do that, once you allow that pain or that frustration or whatever that is that's kind of pent up to move, then all of a sudden you're able to transcend and go to the next part of your journey, which for many of you is that movement. We have two cards at the beginning and the end that were all about movement. You just have to follow your heart. Let's go ahead now and wrap up. I'm going to do a quick review of everything and then we'll go to the closing message. Your channeled message this month was a reminder not only to make sure that there is reciprocity in your life, but also to kind of look at what part of the learning/mentorship equation you might be on. We saw the Three of Pentacles here, which shows that many of you might want to either seek out training, or if you're in a place in your life where you can help others, you might be that person that offers the training. There were two cards of movement, both in the beginning and the end. There was a reminder with this that you don't have to be isolated. There is help if you want it, but it's a question of if you want that help. As we look at the center, a general note for your own health to take care of your body, to also move away from anyone that might be controlling. We saw that controlling energy in the environment and at the center. This is a chance for you to reclaim your own power and to remember that it looked like it might be an illusion if you had any sort of uncertainty or doubt about your communication skills. It was touching a card of knowledge, and it was bookended by a card of fear. So I feel like you are in a better position to both move forward and also communicate than you may have given yourself credit for. Many of you may be seeking out privacy or alone time this month. You might also be trying to retract from any gossip. I fully think that that's a wise decision. Remember that you don't want to be a part of that because some of that could be recorded, and you want to go on record as being really on the right side of this. So walk away from people that are trying to tempt you in that direction. Focus instead on self-development, on training, on mentorship, as we talked about earlier. Know that your heart is open to give and receive unconditional love. In fact, as we looked at the love area in your extended forecast, I can see a higher love, a higher relationship coming through. So keep up the work that you're doing. It is paying off. What's important for you, the little bit of homework that you have, is to truly see yourself as a person that is worthy of this love coming in, and to see past the limitations or the blinders that are on this person. Embrace self-development this month. That was something that we saw earlier, both in the channeled message and also in the recent past. I feel like it's a really good time for training, for learning, for kind of just soaking things up. In your environment, there is a need to kind of shake things up, whether it's figurative and you just need to kind of open your mind, or it's the restrictions in the corporation, the family, or even the church that you're in. There's something that is kind of limiting your scope a bit and could be making you doubt yourself, feeling a little bit sad. If that's the case, it is time to move on. You have encouragement and permission because everything else is moving in a positive direction here. And when we looked at your outcome, that really was what it was all about in the destiny here. Let's review the extended outlook again. This is a chance to celebrate your inner child, show appreciation for both the blessings and the blocks that you've been receiving all through your life, and know that it's made you a stronger person for that. Also get in touch with that inner child and kind of see how they feel about where you're at. When I'm looking at your environment, there's something that's not quite healthy about it and seems to be pulling you out of it. So what would you have done if you were a kid and you didn't have all of these filters? If you would have thought to yourself, this is crazy, I'm gonna get out, it might be time to do just that. All of the work that you're doing on cleaning up your life is calling in higher level relationships, a soulmate or a great partner that is going to really make all of this work worth it. Continue to move, don't give up. That's what this journey is about. We never stop as souls, as human beings. We continue to evolve, we continue to move, we come back, we repeat things until we have all of the lessons that we need. This month, however, presents an opportunity to make a breakthrough for you, to be able to own who you are, to really conjure up that internal passion that you have and channel it towards something that you like. And I feel like there is an inevitable sort of move that's happening for you. That seems to be the momentum, that's where you're going. And I see more love on that path, which is exciting. I hope that this gave you what you needed to navigate all of the opportunities that are in front of you. But if you ever feel like you need a little bit more guidance because life threw you a curveball, or you just want to dig a little deeper in something that we talked about today in the general reading, then I would love to chat with you. Just go ahead and click on the first card or the first link below the video and you can check out my rates and availability there. If that makes sense, then I look forward to talking to you. Otherwise, I mentioned at the beginning that everything here is viewer supported. So if you would like to give back in a small way, you can click on the second card or the second link. This will take you to my website, and from there you can either do a one-time donation, something as small as $1 for the whole year, or you can do a recurring donation through Patreon. And this makes a big impact because it helps me continue to buy supplies, but more importantly, it helps me to set up the time that it takes to do these videos, which is approximately 5 hours per video. I usually do about one per day, and when I get a little bit more support from you guys, I can make them longer. I've been trying to keep them all between 30 to 40 minutes this month, and anybody that's done a donation in months past, just know that your donation helped make this possible today. And if you'd like to help support similar videos in the future, then that donation, again, as little as $1, it makes a big impact. So thank you in advance, and again, you can click on that second card and find out a little bit more. If you would simply like to support me in a way that doesn't involve booking an appointment or donating, you can do that by liking and subscribing here. That tells me, and it also tells YouTube, that this is a popular channel and that helps the channel stay healthy. But more importantly, please join me on my social media networks. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a newsletter. And if you like what you see here, then please share it on those networks and know that your advocacy helps me reach more people. If you need to kind of figure out what all my accounts are, click on the third card and the third link. That'll take you to a landing page where I've put information on my website, and you can find all of that there. Finally, and most importantly, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for working on yourselves. That's why I show up every month. I want to create a network of light workers, of healers, of people that are just awake, mind, body, and spirit. And that's what all of you are starting to become. And this month, like I said, I feel like you have this chance to break through. It's movement for you. And your card that really struck me this month that I think that you can overcome is the Two of Swords. You have that capacity to really let your inner strength come through and surprise people with your knowledge, with your passion. I would also say with your sort of nurturing and fair ability here, because I wasn't seeing anything coming through negative, really. Just that there might be some people around you that are causing you to doubt yourself. So I have faith in you. I can't wait to see things develop, and I hope that some fabulous people come into your life and can cherish and celebrate the human being that you're becoming. Thank you so much. Wishing you love, light, and abundance now and always. I'll see you again next month, and until then, be well.